The suffering in me sees the suffering in you, and for that I have bountiful compassion. Human suffering is one of the universal truths, something that is a law of nature. But our conscious choice to feed those feelings and continue the suffering we experience is caused by cravings and aversions in our minds when we identify too strongly with the things we experience. Instead, we are taught to live a life of Dhamma, of understanding the universal truth of suffering and choosing to feel the compassion we have for ourselves and for others. A life full of peace, harmony, and goodwill. S.N. Goenka dedicated his life to spreading the teachings of Vipassana and Dhamma throughout the world. Throughout the history of Buddhism, teachers were typically monks, people who dedicated their entire lives to meditation and Buddhist theology, living in monasteries and casting aside material possessions. Goenka was different. He came from a well-off household where he lived as a businessman in Myanmar. As his business in textiles grew, he became a leader in his community, but with this increase in wealth and prosperity, he did not find happiness and peace. Instead, his mental tension led to debilitating migraines that only morphine could calm. He saw specialist after specialist, but found no answers for his continued suffering until a friend suggested that he go to the International Meditation Center and learn from the teachers giving courses. This was the beginning of redistribution of Vipassana throughout India and the world. The road to enlightenment is hard. It takes a lot of hard work to meditate for hours on end and look deep inside yourself, relearning and releasing all of the suffering you have experienced in your human life. Goenka knew that, and he taught with a tenacity for his students' well-being, fighting towards the ultimate peace and happiness for all of mankind. Goenka took what he learned and made it his life mission to make it accessible to everyone who was called to find it. Starting in India, he began teaching courses in tents and jungles, using only donated resources and help from students. The movement grew throughout Asia, into Europe, across the seas to the Americas, and even to Australia. Currently, there are 197 centers in over 100 countries, and the teachings of Vipassana are readily available to those who wish to learn through Goenka's recorded instruction and discourses. He inspired everyone that he met to continue this work of spreading compassion and happiness, and through that inspiration, created a worldwide organization devoted to the well-being of all humans. Goenka passed away peacefully in 2013, and even in his last days, he was still working diligently towards the spread of Dhamma to everyone he could. He never took credit for any of his work. He even said that he didn't care if anybody remembered him. He was only continuing the education that his teacher gave to him. I have been to 2 retreats so far. 10 days of silent meditation and contemplation is the farthest I have pushed myself and easily the hardest thing I have ever done. But when Goenka's discourses begin in the evening, all the hard work I did that day made sense. He has a way of relating to everyone in the room. He is funny and kind and full of the type of compassion that is contagious. And although he is simply a human doing his best, he seems to be full of magic. Every retreat that I have been on so far has given me an aha moment. It is easy to get caught up in anger or frustration when you are in a crowd of people and have to maintain noble silence. My first retreat, I found myself angry with a woman opening a window in the Dhamma hall because it let a breeze in that would distract me from my bodily sensations. Vipassana meditation is centered around the observation of sensation, so everything I felt was of great importance, and I did not want the distraction of wind on my back. I told the course manager, I talked to the assistant teacher, and the advice I was giving related back to me and my reaction to what was happening. The window continued to be opened. It was only after the last day, when noble silence was broken, that I learned this woman was experiencing anguishing hot flashes during the meditation, and opening the window was the only thing that made the retreat bearable. I was reminded of a few things. 1, that I did not know what was happening to this woman internally, and 2, my anger that I held on to for days only hurt myself. I was ruminating and bringing suffering to myself through fueling my anger for this person instead of having compassion for her. Even though I did not know that she was suffering, I knew that I was suffering in this arduous process of meditation, and that suffering was a universal truth. Instead of observing my anger and not acting upon it, I fueled it, and ultimately it led to more suffering for myself. This is what Goenka was trying to teach me. This is what Vipassana was trying to teach me. Here it was in my face, and I still could not see it. The road to enlightenment is long and full of obstacles, but it is made available to me because Goenka dedicated his life to making it so. So I dedicated myself to meditating more, so next time maybe I will see it quicker. I am eternally grateful for Goenka and his work bringing Vipassana meditation to the world. Because of it, I am learning to end my suffering and grow through compassion. Thank you.